My experience in Camp Connect is wonderful. I've learned a lot about culture and arts, how it affects how it affects me, my country. I thank all Maulamos and Yavas for the amazing energizers and activities that and learning that they are sharing with us. The Camp Connect is my family.
Yalimada to everyone. My name is Nurlan and I'm from Gilgit, Pakistan. For me, the experience at Connect was really amazing. We get to learn the culture of different Ismailis from all around the world. We had the family camp, which was really amazing, and I really enjoyed listening to everybody's Darbar story. Inshallah, I'll also be joining next year for the Connect camp. Thank you.
The best part of Connect is connecting with the global Jamaat, exploring, and also learning new activities in some very exciting ways. Thank you.
Ya Ali Madad. My name is Ayan Kanji and I'm from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The best thing about Connect so far was meeting new people from different countries and learning about their cultures and diversities and how they do things in their countries. Another good thing about Connect was our Create workshops, where we learned things about how we can use acting as a tool to present environmental action and social crisis.
Hiya Limited and hello Connect Camp family. I'm so happy that in this period we are all together like a family. I love all the Connect family and I thank you all the Yavars, all the Mualimus, all the facilitators. And also I say my thank you to the students that we have in arts and culture. In Connect Camp 2021 was so wonderful moments, and I say thank you to Yavar Rafiq Raihani. He is a perfect teacher.
Hello and Yali Madet. My name is Sabrina and I'm from London and I had the pleasure of taking part in Camp Connect 2021. Meeting Ismailis from around the globe was just so incredible. I felt so united with my fellow Murids and I felt more connected with someone that lives halfway across the world from me than I do locally. I think that the guest speakers were so inspirational. The classes were so informative. I learned so much about the career I want to go into, and I just found the whole experience so fascinating. So, thank you again for holding Camp Connect, and I will definitely be joining next year.
Oh, hello there. This is Ali Khan Zaratia and Safina Qasim welcoming you back to what I'm sure was a very eventful week. Was that life-changing or what? I know all the things that you have learned, the discussions you have had and the connections you have made have set you off on a course to do great things. I can feel it. I heard it in your voices right at the top of today's agenda. And speaking of today's agenda, I can't wait to show all of you the surprises we have in store for you at our closing ceremonies. But first, I need you to make sure you have your cameras on and your chat windows open because there's going to be a lot of audience participation and even some opportunities for you to be the star of the show. So to test our readiness, let's raise the roof and connect. Say CONNECT. Say C to the O to the NNECT. Everybody say connect. Let's connect. The first performance is going to make you say ah. Literally. Remember the chant you learned during the week? That's going to be brought to life right now by the one, the only Hussein John Mohammed. Hussein is a choral artist, composer and conductor and is passionate about music, being a medium for cultural dialogue, building positive relations and accessing the human spirit. He has performed loads of seva around the world, but you probably recognize him from the Diamond Jubilee homemade ceremony, where he conducted the musicians from around the world during the procession. Now, don't forget to take your cell phone flashlights out during the musical piece, and as we may just shine the spotlight right back at you. Conductor Hussein, take it away.
Ya Ali Madat and Assalamu alaikum from Vancouver, British Columbia. We're at the beautiful Ismaili Center, Vancouver, in Canada. And I'm very honored to be here with you today to share with you some of my experiences in music, singing, using our voice, and also to create a space where all of us hopefully will have an experience of intercultural, interfaith harmony, something that our Hazar Imam is so passionate about, to create harmony and beauty in our diversity. My name is Hussein Jan Muhammad, and I am so lucky to work as a singer, a musician, a composer, and a choir director, composing and conducting groups of singers in all kinds of music. This love for singing came from two places for me. It came from Jamaat Khana, where we would recite zikr, where we would recite ginans, qasidas, and now we are also introduced to nasheed and other forms of spiritual expression from around the world. And you know that feeling when everybody is singing together in a passionate prayer, in a commitment, in our allegiance to our Imam, singing and reciting a zikr, all those voices together become for me like a warm hug. And as a child, I remember being hugged by the Jamaat reciting zikr together. And I realized that that is something that I wanted for my life, in my life, and to create for others. I was introduced to singing in a choir, which are singing groups. Mostly you see that in Christian church setting, but you can hear choirs in all kinds of places. And I was introduced to this way of singing in school. And when I sang that music, the way we would add our voices and the layers and the harmonies, the new dimensions of music that came out of it made my soul just come alive. And it reminded me of the same feeling as when I was reciting zikr with the Jamaat in Jamaat Khana. And that gave me a way to hear my spiritual feeling in a Canadian, in a Western environment. Those two things became almost like my superpower. And in our world, there is so much racism, there's so much discrimination, there's so many places that we feel divided, where our identity is negated or opposed. And that's very hard for so many of us in so many ways. And I learned that through music and singing especially, that superpower to bring people together creates a whole new experience of the heart, where all our difference can become this beautiful blossom. It becomes like a perfume that overwhelms you and takes you over. And people with Arabic backgrounds, that is called Adinu, which is a poem by Ibn al-Arabi, which says that everywhere I go, I see that love is my religion. And he says, before I thought that people were different and I didn't accept each other people. But he said, now I understand that even the deer in the field, the Christian in the church, the Hindu in the temple, the Muslim in the mosque are all my brothers and sisters. Because because love is our religion. And that was one of the most profound experiences I had, because that same feeling came into me, that spiritual feeling that we were in a church singing Islamic music with a group of people from all over the world. And I can't explain what that feels like, because it's magic. And that magic becomes our superpower. And that superpower becomes a way for us to become really brothers and sisters, where we can find harmony. So the piece of music that we're all about to hear now is a coming together of 5 different melodies from 5 different traditions. There's a Buddhist tradition, the Islamic tradition, a Christian tradition, Hindu, Jewish, an Indigenous Canadian First Nation tradition.
How awe-inspiring was that? I mean, do you think that we all contributed to such an amazing piece of work despite being spread across the world and having varying levels of musical talent? I mean, this just goes to show how powerful we can actually be if we all make just a little bit of an effort to make the world a better place. Next up, we are going to make the Walimus and Yavars a little bit nervous because we are going to go off script. Yeah. So I'm sending you from here, Nairobi, Kenya, all the way to Atlanta, USA, and to Los Angeles, USA, for a very special interview. In Atlanta, we have Sikin Paru, a fabulous artist and entrepreneur. She will be interviewing the absolutely hilarious Rizwan Manji, who you may know from various Hollywood films and television shows, including a very popular one that I may get in trouble for saying the name of Creek. I cannot wait to watch how this one goes down. Sikin and Riz, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up.
Oh, wow. I can see everybody. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Hi, Sakine.
Hello. Thank you, Ali Khan, for the great introduction. And thank you, Rizwan, for being here today.
I'm very nervous.
Don't be nervous. I'm nervous as well, so we can be nervous together. Well, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about, what Ali Khan was talking about, your entire career trajectory and how you got to this point. Please share with us all your story and how you got here.
It's a long and boring story, but I'll try to keep it short. I actually always had an interest in drama, in the arts when I was growing up. I wasn't very good at a lot of sports, so it was my one way of like fitting in. I actually was the class clown. I got like kicked out of class for making jokes and all that good stuff. But that's how I started. I ended up in junior high school in Canada. We call it junior high school. I ended up getting cast in a play, a one act play, and I ended up getting the lead role of this detective. And we performed it in front of the school and everybody laughed, and I said, oh, wait a minute, I can do this. And so it was something that at that time was the first time that it crossed my mind that maybe I could do this as a career. And I kind of since that play, which is the first time I remember thinking about it as something I could do as a job, I kind of slowly would like be like, oh, and maybe I can do this, and maybe, and then I have to tell my parents, oh, maybe I can do this. And so it was a long journey of convincing them, I ended up uh, getting into the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York, and having them being okay with me leaving the University of Alberta to go to like an acting school was a big deal. But yeah, I then went there, I graduated, and since then I've sort of been doing it as a profession. I did a lot of theater in the 1990s, and then slowly in the 2000s is when I started getting into film and TV, and that's where we are today, sort of pursuing it as like I think of it as a job, as a business. And yeah, I'm very grateful because a lot of people don't get to have that opportunity to be in this business for this long. So I'm very happy that I'm able to do that. But yeah, it started in, I guess it started in junior high school when I got cast in a play.
So interesting. So that was like the pivotal moment that you had that sort of shaped your career and your trajectory.
Yeah, it definitely was. It's interesting, because in Calgary, even in Jamaat Khana, I would sing Ginan, and we would have like plays in like short little skits that we would do in Khana, and I would always participate that, and I always enjoyed it. And I think that was also sort of like an introduction to it. So because I would participate and I would enjoy doing that. I think in junior high school the play actually it made sense because I was like, oh, people do this as a living. That's where the change happened.
What's one piece of advice that you always try to give to your kids?
um oh, please behave. Listen to me. uh my daughter specifically, she's actually very interested in singing. That's her main passion. She's done some acting stuff, but her main passion is singing. And it's hard, right? Because you're a child and you obviously want to do a lot of things. But I'm like, if you have a passion for something, it's great that we enjoy, because she enjoys doing this and this is great. But you also have to put the work in, right? Like at some level, you still have to continue learning. You still have to work on your craft. And it's hard to say that to a 12-year-old, to be like, look, you do need to take this 1 hour of voice lessons with your teacher, even though you don't want to do it during the summer, because that's part of it, right? Like I think it's the same thing. Like I've been watching the Olympics lately, and you see that as well. The arts is no different. There is a commitment that you have to have, and unless you have that commitment to just sort of hone your craft and work on it, then I think that you'll have a hard time.
Yeah, that's great advice. We all have to put in the hard work behind our craft. On a similar note, what's a great piece of advice that you got from your parents that you've taken with you throughout your career?
So interestingly enough, I'm saying this like maybe like just answering this on the cuff because I was like, but you know, I didn't think about it until I guess recently. But my parents were always like, get a degree. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of away from that because I ended up dropping out of University of Alberta, and then I ended up going to an acting conservatory, which I didn't get a degree from. But then I went back and I was like, I want to get a degree. And there's something about it that I can tell you many stories of how it's come into play, and also the people that I met. Do you know what I mean? The people I met getting the degree, um, uh, there's just so many things that I feel have been able to help me advance in my career and in not just necessarily, because again, it's not just about this specific thing, which is acting, it's life, right? And I think the degree really helped me, and so I thank my parents, even though I was very much like, I don't want to do this, I just want to be an actor. But yeah, I think that in retrospect, they it definitely helped me.
That's great. That's great advice that they gave you. And the final question, still on the theme of advice,
Yeah.
given the current world landscape and your experience working with institutions, what piece of advice do you want to leave for our youth moving forward?
Um, I think that it's very similar to the working on your craft, but I would say stay engaged, which is participate in as much as you can. Like I found great satisfaction from being involved with the institutions. I've done a lot of stuff with the Aga Khan Foundation, and just being involved in Jamaat Khana and volunteering and all that stuff. It really does give you a center of stuff that's outside, because you can we are uh, especially being in this in this field, you end up almost focusing so much on it because it's such a big, like it's become such a big part of my life that everything sort of revolves around I have to get this job, I have to do this, there's travel, there's this. And if you have an outlet where there's something else that is important to you that you can focus on, then it gives you something to center yourself. And I don't know, I found that to be very valuable in my life.
Amazing, amazing. That's great advice to give. So Rizwan, if you don't mind, we'll ask a few questions from the participants now.
Great. Be kind to me.
So there's a question from Layla in South Korea, and she's asking, how hard has it been to navigate South Asian representation in the media?
Very good question. So, it's changed. I've been in this business for 20 some odd years. And initially when it started, you know, there wasn't a lot of South Asian people on television and film. So in the United States, I would have to say. And so there was a lot of like very stereotypical roles of like the cab driver and the convenience store owner, and I did a lot of that. And the one thing that I wouldn't do, the one thing that I said I wouldn't do was play a terrorist. And I succeeded in that, except for one incident, which was 24. And that's a whole long story for some other time, which I will tell at some other point. But I do feel I always try to look at things in a positive way, and I feel like a lot has changed. There is definitely a lot more opportunity. There are shows that are centered around the South Asian community. There's Never Have I Ever. There's Master of None. So there's definitely that change. I do think, however, that we still have a lot of ways to go. One-offs and two-offs are great, but we need to have people behind. That's not just the actors. We need to have people behind the camera. We need to have more Mindy Kalings. Essentially, we can't live off of one Mindy Kaling. We need to give opportunity to a bunch of people so that we can start telling our stories, and we can have that spread across the and that's the way representation happens, when we have people behind the camera, where we have writers and producers and camera people and lighting people, and like we just need to have representation everywhere. That's when we know that we have gotten to a place. So I do want to leave it with its positive. It's definitely changed in the last 20 years, that you can tell by my own career that stuff has changed. But I also do believe that we have a long way to go, and places that we can aspire to.
Yeah, we need more Mindy Kalings and we need more Rizwan Manjis. So
yeah.
thank you for answering that question. Thank you so much for your time. It was such a pleasure speaking with you. Is there anything else you want to add, or are we back to Ali Khan?
Thank you so much, Sakeen. I'm good if you guys are.
Back to you, Ali Khan.
How do you follow that? I'm so glad my time with you has come to an end because I can't compete with all the talent you've seen thus far in our program. But don't go anywhere though, because we are not through with you just yet. This wouldn't be a closing ceremony without some pictures of you. Next, we have the highlights of your journey over the last week, set to the Connect theme song, of course. And then we have Walimu's Nazmina and Ali, who will be coming to say their goodbyes as well. Safina is going to stick around for a bit longer, but this is my time to say adios, kwaheri, and au revoir, goodbye. I can't wait to see the impact you are going to have in the world. Give me a little heart sign if you agree. You really love me. Oh, thank you all for the warm send off. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Oh, okay. The MDs are telling me it's time for me to wrap up. Once again, this is Ali Khan Zaratia signing off. Thank you and Ya Ali Madad.
I used to look up at the clouds and think they're so unreachable. I wasn't singing to the stars, my voice was inaudible. Cause everyone around me told me to keep my feet on the ground. Oh, but then you showed me where hearts could go to fly above the crowd. You can't forget, we got a reason, so give it all to dreaming. No surprise, and we connect, and we'll reach him. So what are you waiting for? We're free to dream. We beam like the northern lights. We're burning bright, free to be. Got our wings, and we soar in the sky. Our hands so high, reaching up, singing out. Free to dream, got our wings, and we soar in the sky. Our hands so high. हर तुलुई शम्सी हुई हमारे रोशन, चेहरों पर हंसी, दिलों में ना कोई गम. जिस्म बेशुमार पर एक जा है हम, नस नस में जुनून जिंदा है हम. नई उम्मीद है, नया आगाज है, पंछियों के संग अपनी परवाज है. Olsa sarbiland, muazzar akşim, hamçı sitareyso, mami darakşim. Olsa sarfraz, basutay parvaz, şekri asimara, badistani rubi bala, 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 misarayama. Free to dream, got our wings, and we soar in the sky. Our hands so high. Nous n'allons pas baiser nos lumières, ni les cadeaux de nos esprits. Aucune frontière ne peut nous diviser. Nous nous réunissons dans les horizons. المستقبل علمك القمر والسماء تضيء عندما نتحد ونتواصل. Free to dream, we beam like the northern lights. We're burning bright, free to be. Got our wings, and we soar in the sky. Our hands so high, reaching up, singing out. Free to dream, got our wings, and we soar in the sky. Our hands so high.
Yali Manath, everyone.
Wow, how is it day 7 already? It feels like we just met, yet look how far we've come. And what a journey it's been. We've learned, we've grown, we've made new friendships, but most of all, we've had fun. Now, before we go any further, we would like to thank our amazing MC, Ali Khan Surathia, and our wonderful ASL interpreter, Safina Qasim, for guiding us through this ceremony. Malimu Nismina, how is the Climate Change and Environmental Action Camp?
I can safely say that we understand what it means to be a Khalifa of this planet and that we're all interconnected. And what that means is that while we may have all created the issues of climate change, we also have the power to create a healthy and sustainable future. Walamu Ali, how did your week go for arts and culture?
It was amazing. We learned so much about arts and culture, including how it is part of the human experience and how it can bring about social change. We took part in incredible workshops and picked up some amazing skills, and we bonded over so many fun activities. Safe to say, it was an unforgettable week.
Mwalimu Ali and I would love to hear from our participants. How do you feel? In the chat box, please tell us the most memorable thing about camp. Making new friends. Absolutely. This unique experience has allowed us to meet so many of our sisters and brothers from around the world. We hope that this is just the start of some of the long-term bonds you have formed.
All right, let's take a look at another one of our answers here. Yeah, all the fun we had in cabin sessions and lounges. That's great. Yeah, I mean, we had so much fun. Big thank you to the programmatic team for coming up with some amazing activities. Our, fun gather and cabin programming. I see some more comments on that in the chat, which is amazing. Our incredible workshops, unique explore sessions, interactive AKDN elements. There are so many amazing components to the program. So that's great. Yeah, feel free to keep the comments coming. Malimu Nizmina, over to you.
As we conclude Connect 2021, we would like to thank all of our Yavars and Mwalimus, not only from Camp Build, but also for all of you who worked hard for Camp Aspire. Your dedication, love, and commitment to Connect has created a lasting impact on so many, and we are forever grateful and appreciative of all your efforts.
But most of all, thank you to our amazing participants. You have brought your light, your love, your energy, your passion to a global stage. You've made an incredible impact on not only each other, but on everyone you've interacted with. You are our future, and we know that without a doubt, our future is so bright. Now, even though the Connect experience may be ending soon, we encourage you to continue building on the connections you've made during this program. Continue to push yourself, aim to inspire others, and remember that you're not only the leaders of tomorrow, but you are the leaders of right now.
Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your journey. We would now like to introduce our Connect volunteer thank you video.